this is Mr. Legendary Vendetta. I have a news announcement to make. We're going to watch some Shogun 2 between me and Jol1r. Jol1r? Joel. I'll call him Joel for just for this. Joel. Joel. Now Joel. Joel is Swedish. I am English. I have many Swedish friends, and many of them seem to unfortunately play Shogun 2, and they generally tend to be very good as well. So this is a very good match, a very close match, and I hope you do enjoy it. It's on the Iwaki or Iwakai, depending on where you're from, foothills. Now this is an extraordinarily dangerous and also very annoying map to play on, because as you can see, the topography of the land, yes, I said topography as I'm a geography student, is incredibly unbalanced, as in we've got hill after hill after hill. Now this makes this game incredibly difficult to play on, and we're going to be fighting over the workshop, but also the farmhouse. So of course, very highly prized buildings. Seems that we both mainly bring sword units. Now what Mr. Vendetta has brung, he's got some Yari Ashigaru up front, with some Yari Ashigaru protecting the sides and the flanks, if you will, and I've got some Yari Ashigaru packing at the rear, but I've then also brought a very strong, very heavy sword component, comprising of 3 longsword with some fairly decent stats, some 3 Nodachi with 18 melee attack, and then I've got Captain Cabinet. This time I decided to go for a melee general. I know, right? I never go for that. And there he is, Mr. Captain Cabinet. I decided to change him back to his old attire, and he looks like a boss. And then I've also got loads of cavalry hidden in these little woods just over here, and I've got a light cavalry just over there. Let's go through this cav. So what has Vendetta brung? He's got some Yari cav. Should have 3 of those guys, which I do. I then have spears of Shizugati Wakitaki Wake, and then I've got 2 bow cavs. So I've got 1 vanilla and 1 veteran. And then of course these guys are just going to be vanilla units. Now let's go see what Joel bought. Joel has bought for us some Yari Cav, so he's got 3 of those guys, all with excellent stats. Got some good melee attack for that sustained combat. He's then got some good charge for the initiation. He's then also got this little skirmish party, which is very nice. I would love to do more of this. I'm just so scared that I'm going to get raped by another person's cavalry just from all-out charge, but these Yari Samurai here are doing a very good job. 25 bonus cav. I'm not going to be doing too much to these guys, but he's got 2 match like Ashigaru. Yeah, they won't do the most amount of damage, but you know, they're still enough to be a pain in my side. He's then also got some Yari Ashigaru, 3 of those guys up front, followed by some Daikyu Samurai and some Bo Ashigaru. That's an interesting skirmish component to bring. So he's got 175 range and then 150 range. So you know, there's a bit of a difference between these two. This one, well, he's got 5 chevrons, so this may be 500 Koku by now. And this one must be probably about 1200, I assume. He's then also got some longsword, but just look at the stats. I have not seen longsword like this since the longsword era in Shogun 2. Now, if you haven't been playing Shogun 2 for that long, the longsword era was basically within the first year of release of Shogun 2. Everyone spammed longsword, apart from the more honourable of us, because longsword, just look at it, 200 men. You know, when we compare it to someone like a katana. Well, bad example. But let's compare it to like a Nodachi, 160. So immediately you got 40 more men. So they're just absolutely flooding the battlefield with lots of crap swords. But 17 melee attack. Compare that with my Nodachi, who are proper professionals, bear in mind. They got 18 melee attack. So of course, these guys are going to do pretty darn well, as you would imagine. It's just that they haven't got all the cool buffs that you know, our Nodachi have. But still, a lot of troops to churn through, and they're very, very tough, especially in this high number. He's then also got some katanas, and some warrior monks. The katanas also 20 attack and 18 attack, very nice there, with some vanilla monks, along with his general, who I think is a... Is he a leadership? I assume he is a leadership. He's got a bit of melee defense there as well. Now, this was a complete random match. I did not know Joel at the point, and as I make clear every match I usually present a new player, I did add him as a friend because he is a brilliant person. And there we go. Windows is bitching out. And we're back. So that's why the game just froze then, because it keeps on talking about some colour correction scheme, or I don't know, some bollocks, a good British word, some bollocks like that. So What the tactic's going to be, Vendetta? Well, he's holding the skirmish advantage. He's got 2 matchlocks and he's also got Daikyu Samurai. So immediately I am at a huge disadvantage. However, ooh, shameful display is very loud. Let's turn that master volume down. Let's turn the music up to get some atmosphere. Turn the speech down, and wunderbar. Nice. Okay, now we can turn to play. So, what are the tactics going to be? As I was saying, he does out-skirmish me a hell of a lot with that. With those matchlocks, this is a very good move because it keeps my, keeps my cav away. 2 matchlock keeps the cav away, as they say, and he's also then got his Daikyu over here. So I am kind of stretched thin a little bit. This will be very hard to engage. I don't want to pull up my bow cav too far, otherwise I risk getting hit by the Daikyu Samurai. And given that these guys have only got 80 each, every bow cav man is gonna count. Now, he has got the skirmish advantage. I'm not going to deny that. However, the good thing that I've got on my side in terms of skirmishing power is that I've got the mobility, so I can do little hit and runs. I can make sure that I harass him as much as possible, and I do a fairly decent job at it throughout the match. Now, as you can see here, you can also see my OCD kicking in as well, just perfectly laid out units. But he's going to be forming up on this hill, so of course it will be futile to start attacking, and my micro does slip a little bit as his Daikyu Samurai do begin to shoot at me. Oh, that's a nice angle. Might have to screenshot that one later. And my cavalry, I do hold the cavalry advantage, so those guys are really going to have to be used to their full potential. I'm going to try and pull off his Yari Samurai here, but it's not going to work. See, you'll find a lot of new players as well will generally pull away their Yari Samurai from their skirmishing units, which is an exceptionally bad thing to do. You never ever want to be doing that, but Joel does an exceptional job, very, very well played. He keeps his Yari Samurai with him, and really, and it's just gone again, even better. What is this, Windows? Keep color scheme. There we go. I can't believe it did it twice in one cast. That is just embarrassing. Anyway, so I really can do nothing here. I'm trying to bait his Yari Samurai away because I really, really want them away from those units. I pull in my spears of Shizugati Waka Waka Laka Laka Take to try and pin these guys down once the Yari Samurai away, but it doesn't work. Joel is not falling for it. He is much smarter than that, and he does commence to kind of churn into my Yari Ashigaru, already taking 30 men down to hell with him. Now I'm going to pursue with my Yari Cav. I'm going to take a few more pot shots. I think he's going to reform on the top of this hill, to which it would be a good idea to start shooting at these Yari Samurai, but Joel has done a very good job. Again, he's upgraded the armor, which means that in actual fact, for this kind of a unit to be raiding alongside with these Matchlock Ashigaru, it means that it's pretty pointless for me to start shooting at these guys because they're not really going to go down very easily against arrows because of that 7 armor. So it's a nice idea to have a high armored unit with some of these, kind of a bit of a strike force of a skirmish unit. Now I'll fast forward it here because it does get very, very slow. Really all it is me kiting back and forth, trying to get the upper hand, but Joel has just got so many units, it's going to be very hard for me to actually ever get anywhere. And these units got churned up a little bit by the Daikyu Samurai, so I had to pull those guys away. As you can see, they got massacred. And, Joel is trying to... Oh my god, it's so close. But Joel is trying to chase away my Bocav because I'm being very annoying. If you do bring Bocav, this is something you have to do. You have to be good at your micro and your... just make sure that you don't get into a melee engagement with them unless the situation really does demand one. And you'll also notice that I've taken my my Bocav around the back so that they're not in the firing arc of the Daikyu Samurai. Purely because I don't want to repeat of that last situation, as you can see here. Now I'm going to keep these guys on the back. Yari Ashigaru, normally when you go for skirmishing units, you want to be prioritizing the high value, but just in this term, the sheer numbers and the sheer weight of units that he's got is really going to put me at a disadvantage. Saying that, I have also brought a very big army, but you have to remember that I also did bring a very big cav unit, sort of cav orientated build. So getting these spears away would be very welcome at this stage. Now this is where things begin to heat up a little bit. I send in a light cav unit down to these matchlocks, and This is where my micro really comes through as just terrible and shocking. As you can see here, I do send in my light cav. They begin to tear into these match like Ashigaru, but they seem to be trotting along, not really doing too much. These were really the guys I was trying to pin down and kill. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a, yeah, it was like being slapped with a tiny fish. From me to Joel, really, this just did not work at all. I'm going to get a nice volley off there with my bow cav, and these light cav are going to die really quite shamefully, only getting 26 kills there, but then again, they are a light cav unit. What do you expect? Now, this was a golden opportunity, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to seize this moment, and I take along all of my cavalry, because the reason I was peppering this Yari Ashigaru in the first place was because I really wanted his Yari Ashigaru to go away, so it would make it much easier for my cav to engage. Because if you look at this, oh my god, unprotected sword units, I'm having an absolute nerdgasm at this point, a total war nerdgasm, because they're completely free for the taking from a massive cav charge, and I've got a lot of good cav to supplement that. Now, what he has been doing is being very annoying with his Daikyu Samurai and started to poke at my melee infantry force. So he's taken out 34 of my men there with the lone swords, the swift swords, and I'm about to get a very, very big lesson in my micro, which was atrocious in this game, but also the fact that I should never charge uphill. I learned that definitely. I'm not sure what my bow cav were doing at this point. His Yara would get a nice downhill charge in my spears of Shizugate Wake, and these guys will hold their own, so I'd rather this unit got charged than any of my other Yarikav, but it's still not ideal. Although they are holding on pretty well, even though they got downhill charged, and I'm just going to charge uphill, which again is a very bad move. You never really want that. So at this stage in the battle, what has happened is he's got my attention. My micro is awful. He's actually split his army up, which is not a very good idea, but given the circumstances, just the terrain, the map is just so awkward to play on. It's going to be very hard for me to support against any swords, so I just leave my cavalry to it. I try and take out this Yari cav, try and get around the top and then charge down. So I thought, while his swords are occupied, I can sweep through with my swords and try and take out the rest of his army on this side. Unfortunately, I kind of get into a bit of an infantry blob, which is something you never want on this game, and because pretty much you're just stacking units and not all of your troops are kind of fighting at one point. Now, my Yari Cav is going to be charging into his Yari Cav, the polite parachuters, and they really are going to be tearing me up just because their stats are far, far better, and my positioning downhill is not great either. My Spears of Shizugate Wake are going to be retreating because I want those guys to be saved. I should have pulled those guys right round, hit these Daikyu Samurai, or hit his general. That really would have been a good move. But really, as I said, my units are all stacked. I tried to put on a rally, which did not work. And I think I did Banzai at this point, which I did. Remember, Banzai gives you unbreakable morale for a short period of time, but it also increases the charge bonus and melee attack. I think some people do forget that it does give you a melee attack boost. I think it's a melee attack boost of 3, so that is why Banzai is an exceptionally good ability to have on any type of unit. I then pop on Banzai on my general as well. I then tried to clean out these Yarikav. Now, normally I would never say charge in your general into Yarikav purely because of that bonus versus cavalry that Yarikav obviously do have. However, I have got a melee general, so it's kind of worth doing, and these guys would just hammer and anvil me from the back, and my micro was really terrible, and I charged uphill, which again was awful. I was a bit rushed. I was more focused on what was going on over on this side, and my cavalry actually got wiped out by sword units. How does that work? I'm just... Brr. So I've learned a very valuable lesson there. Don't charge uphill and get better at your micro, Vendetta. That's pretty much all I'm thinking. Now I'm going to charge in my general, who's got very, very good morale, it seems. Trying to take out these matchlocks before they get anywhere. And I have kind of just swarmed all over this hill, but at a great loss. I think some of my units have retreated. And I really haven't got that many units left. Now, he is lucky in the fact that he has taken out all of my cavalry, and he's got all of his sword units left. And what sword units? Anti-infantry. Great. So you can immediately see that I'm not going to do well here. This is going to take something pretty special. Now, my general is going to be charging off at his general. Captain Hindsight is going to be getting away from Captain Cabinet. Quite amusing that we both called him cabinets. No, sorry, captain, should I say. But I'm going to be pulling off at the last minute because I don't want to get charged down by any of these sword units. And I did actually forget about this Yari Cav here. However, I do pull them back in time, and I do just manage to slap Captain Hindsight in the face, and I do manage to take him out, and I think a few of his guys there are going to be dying, and really, neither of us wants to engage. I'd rather he just throw himself into my spear wall, to which I can flank him, but we both know that's not going to happen. Yes, still got his Daikyu Samurai, so he's holding the skirmishing power. So this is really not going in Vendetta's way. I really screwed up with my micro. I've really screwed up in terms of my positioning, really screwed up the cav. Pretty much everything in this game that I could have got wrong, I pretty much well did. Although I did manage to kill his general, which is always helpful. Did I kill him? Nah, he gets away, but he'll be stabbing himself in the tummy later on. Now I do want to charge in, but he has got this thick Wacko Raiders, which I did miss when I was introducing armies, so apologies for that. So I don't want to be charging into them because they'll clean up these Yari Cav. I think my Spears of Shizatake Wake are still alive. Yes, they are. And look at this. This is just patience. Look at this. He actually had another Yari Cav. Again, 35 charge, 14 melee attack. That is exceptional work there. Keeping those hidden. And now automatically the game has changed. So I'm going to be charging in my Yari Cav, which was possibly I probably should not have done that. I should have taken in my Spears of Shizatake Wake in with them, because these guys have got superior stats to his Yari Cav, and I could have saved this Yari Cav from being annihilated. But I wanted to try and run in and do some damage with these Spears of Shizatake Wake, because they would have done far more damage against his sword infantry units. However, Jol has come out with a lot of Yari Cav left, and again he's called his units Bow Cav, so he's playing mind games. But he does get himself into a dodgy position, so I try and charge in my Yari Ashigaru. His Yari cavalry do fall for it, and I should be able to clean those guys up pretty quickly. I charge in Captain Cabinet to try and distract them, so hitting from two different angles, and I charge in Spears of Shizatake Wake back in, even though they have lost a lot of men so far, but they have got that 23 melee attack, so you would expect them to do pretty well. Unfortunately, they have not at all. But I'm sending in my Yari Ashigaru on the flank. They're not really going to do too much against all of these sword units who have got beast stats. I put down a rally just in case Captain Cabinet does die. I've got that 26 melee attack, which will come in handy. Obviously, spears are negated because it is a melee general, and I popped on Banzai. The game has lasted that long, I've actually been able to use Banzai twice, which never usually happens. But there you go. And at this point, it is kind of anyone's game, but I managed to take out his cavalry pretty much. I'm beginning to rout him. He's not looking too good in terms of morale, so this could go my way. But unfortunately for me, just when things are going well, my Yari Ashigaru decide they're going to run. All of them, in fact, are going to run, which only leaves me left with my Nodachis. These guys stop feeling a little bit pressured, and they begin to get back into the fight. My general is now getting charged by his Yari Cav, which I actually thought I killed, but hey, we'll leave it. And I've only got 7 men left. Now the rally is wearing off, the Banzai is wearing off. The Banzai has weared off on both of my Nodachis, and of course their morale is now not unbreakable. And now Captain Cabinet is the last man standing with his Banzai. And as soon as that goes, he will be fleeing. So that was an exceptional match. It was very, very tightly played. And GG to Jol. That was a very good match, it has to be said. And is a shot of all my Yari Ashigaru running away from the battlefield. And oh, dang! Okay, the Daikyu Samurai still feel though the battle's going on. But yeah, as I said, that was a good battle. It was a very tough one. Some good skirmishing going on there. Some very, very good tactics being played. And really, I failed almost every turn. But it's always nice to see, yourself fail so you can learn from your mistakes. What I've learned from this is mainly don't charge uphill with cavalry. I already kind of knew that, but the circumstances were pretty dire. My micro was just terrible. Don't split up my army, because that's pretty much how we won. Or what I should have done is it's just the cavalry, guys. The cavalry killed it for me. And of course, bunching up my units really did not help either. So I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll go to the results screen. And here we are. So as you can see, he did bring 500 more men than me, and this was a big battle. That's nearly 5,000 men almost. No, that is 5,000 men. What am I saying? So it is a huge battle. I think it was actually on ultra unit sizes, and losses there. I lost a lot of men. However, if anything good came out of this match, is that I did kill more men than him. Um, he sustained 2,200 losses. I sustained 1,800 losses, so I definitely did good there. Let's look at who did well, who did not. So Spears of Shizazaki Wake, they got 230 kills, which is decent considering they're a 40-man unit. That is not bad going. Cheapy Choppy there, the Lone Sword Ashigari getting 200 kills, which is fairly decent, I suppose, given the circumstances again of their Lone Sword superiors in Jol1r's army. The Harler, if you need me, Nodachi. Cleaning House there, 182, it's pretty decent. And the Bow Cav did very well as well. 182 kills are very nice. And Captain Cabinet reigning in 165 kills. When your general's got 4 times the amount of kills as his deployed number, you know you've done pretty well with him. Now Joel, his Daikyu Samurai cleaned house again, 250 kills there, very, very well played. Excellent selecting where he needs to be targeting. The Rice Farmers again doing exceptionally well, 180 kills there, and pretty much a lot of his units did pretty well. But I think, as I was saying before, I really needed those Bocav to chop down as many of his troops as possible because I think that's definitely one of the factors, was just that he had about 500 good more men than me, and me personally. I reckon I could have won, but my micro went out the window. And also, my cavalry was not used effectively at all. But anyway, that was a good game to Joel. Thoroughly enjoyed it. My voice is going now because I've been talking straight. And I hope you've enjoyed. But bye for now.